Hi, my name is Fernanda. I'm a tarot reader and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. On today's Pick a Card, we're going to go over how people perceive you. Okay, this is not who you are because only you know who you are 100%. And it's okay that sometimes we only show a side of us to some people, right? So this is really how most people perceive you. And the most important part is from people's perception, okay? What is the impact that you leave in their lives? What is the imprint, okay? How people remember you. So I ask of you to pick one of these three groups, group number 1, group number 2, and group number 3. Take all the time you need to pick a group. You can pause if you need to. Now, whenever you're ready, the timestamps can be found in the description box as well as in the comment section. I'll see you in a couple seconds. Bye. Hi, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. If you picked this card, this Six of Wands, it does represent our public, how we are acknowledged by others, our success. And so I felt it was very fitting to represent this reading. Now, this particular card, when I was meditating on this group, on your group, before even shuffling, because we're going to be shuffling live. By we, I mean me, and you will be watching. But just reflecting on this card, I could tell right away that if you are someone just in general who is successful, I feel like you have a very deep connection with your audience. I feel like you really love it. From the three groups, I really feel like you love and enjoy the attention. You like eyes on you. And if you were to, there's people that are very successful, but you never hear from them. Like, you never hear of them. Like, they're not necessarily writing books, or they're not necessarily singing. They're not necessarily, on YouTube, or they will be like showing their face. Right? And if they're in YouTube, they won't be showing their face. There's people that really do not. And for you, though, it's very important that people know your face, for people to know who you are, and you genuinely enjoy that attention on you. I just feel like, how sometimes there's people that is like too much for them. Whenever they get successful, it's like too much for them, and then they kind of want to have the benefits, but they don't want to be a public image. That would not be your issue, because I feel like you see them, like your public, and you feel so united with them. You feel so connected with them. I just wanted to say that. I know that a lot of you that are watching are not necessarily famous, but I just feel like you connect with them. And another thing too is that you're the type of person that fear is not something to stop you from success. It's something that pushes you. There's some people that fear definitely is kind of a blockage, but for you it's like, oh, I fear this, like this is scary, I gotta do this. So you're more of like that person. And I also feel like you could be more of an extrovert than an introvert, okay? So I just wanted to say that. And I'm going to put this card back, and we will start with how people perceive you, and then we'll move to the impact that you leave on others. So we'll start with the perception and see how people perceive you. And I'm not doing reversal. So in case that you see, oh, this came out in reversal, why are you not taking it like that? Because I don't take reversals. When I do in specific readings, because I'm being called to do so, I will say it in the beginning, okay? You got so far the Three of Pentacles, the Empress, but if you see already, here there's a pattern. You got the number 3 and then the Empress, which is also a number 3, okay? So this is already, the frequency of 3 has a specific frequency. It's a frequency of movement. I'll say also it's the frequency of brotherhood, sisterhood. It's the frequency of transportation. It's a frequency of humor, I will say as well, friends. Okay, so there's already that frequency that people perceive you that way, whether you're a woman or a man. And also I want to I don't know if I said it in the beginning, but my readings are meant for both women and men. They're meant for everyone. I don't talk about gender. So many times maybe I will say things like for a woman because I am a woman, but most of the time I'm talking about things as energies, okay? And there's some qualities that belong to the feminine energy, and there's some that belong to masculine energies, and we need to understand that whatever our gender is, or if we identify as anything or anyone, energies, we all have both, okay? So I just want to clarify that to begin with. Alrighty, so to begin with, group number 1, people do definitely perceive you as someone who, yes, it is hardworking, but I will say more than hardworking is like it's pleasant to work with. It's someone that can work in teams. So even if right away I could tell that you're someone who's more extroverted or someone who really enjoys the attention, like there's people that say that they don't, but they do, and there's people that will say they do and they do, you know, and I feel like that's very authentic to do, and I feel like you will be the type of person that would accept and acknowledge that, and you don't play it small, you know. But even when you don't play it small, I already see that people really enjoy working with you because they think that you're so easy to work with, like you let other people work with you, so you're like a good team player, and not everyone has that quality, of course. So people definitely feel like it's really pleasant to be creative with you as well. I feel like a lot of people that pick this group are very, very artistic, okay? So you're someone who's very creative and always based on your career, you're constantly birthing new things. So that will be for people that are very artistic. Every thought, every idea, every like concept, you're birthing something new. You're not copying from other people. So sometimes we think that when I say artistic, I'm talking about like I don't know, that you paint, and that could be it. But most people could be, think of very artistic careers, like marketing is one of them, okay? So you have to come up with concepts. Social media is another one of them. You have to come up with concepts and ideas, and you have to care about like imagery and all of that. So it just seems like you're such a great person to work with. People feel so supported by you as well. That's something that is very clear. And like you don't limit others. And I think that this is seriously group number 1. I think that you're someone who shines and let people shine, and people really perceive you that way. And regardless of your age or where you are in life as well, with the Empress, it is talking about how of a lot of people perceive you as someone very feminine or with a strong feminine energy. Men that are watching, I'll explain a little bit more about this for you, okay? So for a lot of people that are women that are watching me, they perceive you as very nurturing, such an amazing mother, someone that is very fertile, someone who, like I said, births a lot of creativity, a lot of good ideas, things that would actually help this world, okay? And if you are a man and you're watching this doesn't mean that people see you as a woman. They just, even with your masculine energy, even as you seeing yourself as a man, you know, people feel like you have such a gentle touch as well, okay? People perceive you as someone who is not someone that they should be afraid of, or someone who could ever be harmful, or could be like, in harm. I don't know if ever has happened to you that a woman asked you for help, and even if there were other people around, or even if there were other women, is because you have this energy of like a woman feels safe around you. Okay. And now, talking about everyone, definitely like that creativity is there. You have like that special touch with everything. You're someone who is capable of embellishing things and places and spaces. Okay, so your home, doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, like this is a quality that it does of course belongs to the feminine energy, because it's that capacity of creating beauty. Okay, so you are capable of creating beauty at your place, at your home. You are the one person who has like really great ideas of how things could look well together, put together. Maybe you're someone who really knows how to dress. Okay, now another thing with the Empress, man or woman, you're just someone who's very attractive. I'll say that. And not like in a sense of hot. Like right now, that's not what's coming. It's someone that is beautiful, someone who's handsome. Okay, not like, oh, he's cute, or she's cute, or she's hot, or he's hot. No, beautiful, handsome, graceful. Okay, those are the words that are coming from this energy, and that's how people perceive you. Okay, and you could be like, but I don't think I'm beautiful or graceful, but that's how people perceive you. Remember, we're talking about exterior. We're not talking about like who you truly are, because only you know that. Okay, let's see. With this 5 of Wands. Ooh, so now I was talking about how you are such a great like coworker, or like teamwork, or you're capable of doing that, and you're capable of also like here is like, if you have a business, like your suppliers and love to work with you. Okay, or if you're a supplier, like people, like your clients, they just love to work with you. It just feels like, for whatever reason, they just love to work with you. They think that you're such an easy person to work with. With this 5 of Wands, this is talking about how competitive you are. So some people must have seen that competitive side. For some reason, I find it like more of on a playful side, but you're very competitive. You're very fiery, I'll say. There is something about this group that, to begin with, I thought that a lot of you were fire signs, but I will ask a little bit more about that in a bit. 1 second. Oh, so many cards came out. I only like to take one at a time, because this is the way of setting some order when messages come in. And yeah, some tarot readers, they don't do that, but I do it. It's how it works for me. Here we go. And then you also got the star. Perfect. So this is Aquarius energy, just in case if any of you are Aquarius. But with the star, it just seems like people perceive you as someone who can see the world better than what it is sometimes. They think that you are a visionary. You're someone who, just brings hope in a way of the way you are. Some people, this could be because you are someone religious, or you're someone who is very traditional, and you're so like, you have so much faith on traditions being able to keep going, or something. There's something, doesn't have to be religious. Other people could be because just the way you are, and how like you see the best in everyone or everything. And even whenever like there's a place that is trash, you're such a visionary, and you can see what this place or this trashy place could look like in the future. Okay, so you're like the type of person that could see a neighborhood, and someone will see it as a dangerous neighborhood, but you're like, if you have the power, you'll be well. If you were to add some trees, if you were to paint all the houses, if you were to give people proper schooling, like you're that type of person that thinks of ways of embellishing a place and making it fair as well. And like you definitely, I'm pretty sure that this color is gonna come out once more of like the impact that you leave, because if you are empowered to do that, you're just a visionary. You're someone who dreams about what this world could be. Okay? Let me see as well what maybe zodiac sign people see you like, because it does not mean that you are this sign, but you know, they see Pisces, and I just think it's so funny how it came out on this side because of like the dreaming part of you, that like visionary. Now Pisces is a very mystic energy, is compassionate, is healing, is empathetic. It also has a very strong connection with the spiritual world, the dream world as well, and I'll say also the consciousness, like the world, the consciousness. When people say tap on the unconsciousness, or tap into the collective, that means it's like the information that it's available, but we don't know how to access it, but you do. So I just feel like maybe that's where that information is coming from. And a lot of people do picture you as a Pisces, or it could be that you have an affinity with Pisces or something like that. Now, you also got Mars, and this, of course, does belong to Aries. Now, some people, astrologers, they link Mars to Scorpio as well, because it used to be linked to Scorpio. But I'll say, so could be Aries or Scorpio. The astrology that I'm studying, for me, Scorpio does belong to Pluto, but I just wanted to put it out there just in case that some people are also Scorpios, and I know a lot of you that know about astrology, you may have studied it differently, okay? So you got Aries, Scorpio, and Pisces, and those are the three main zodiac signs that people perceive you like. And this could also be because your ascendant could be in one of those signs. So you could be, let's say, a Taurus, but you have your ascendant in Pisces, let's say. Okay, so then that's why people perceive you as a Pisces. Now let's see of like what is the impact that you have on people. Group number 1. Oh, see, oof, this came out flying. 1 second. I feel like I did not mix them properly, so let me just shuffle a little bit more, a little bit longer before I take any card out, or I mean I accept any card that comes out flying. Okay, perfect. We'll start. What impact do you leave on people? And I think that this is really precious to know, because sometimes people won't tell us this, or won't dare to tell us, or they will never have a chance. But it's really nice to be aware of that. Oof. You got the 10 of Wands, the Page of Wands. Oof. 1 second. The Ace of Swords. Okay. The Page of Cups with the 5 of Swords, okay? And let's see. You got sovereignty. So I'll put this, like that. Mm-hmm. Gratitude. And one more. And beauty. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, group number 1. So I think that you're someone who most of the time you have taken up on responsibility that was not even yours to begin with. And I just feel like with this 10 of Wands, it is really clear you helped a lot in some time of your life. This could be that something that you still do, or this could just apply to like a time of your life, but this is an impact that you definitely left people with. And it's just like how probably in the past you help other people that couldn't with their own share of responsibility or couldn't deal with reality in that moment. And I just feel like you push them. And with this 10 of Wands, because to me, Wands, it really represents that inner fire we have, right? And I just feel like this is telling me, and with this 5 of Swords, I just have this feeling that you have helped people through their depression, okay? Or there were people that were in dark times and you were there for them and you pushed them. And like, we should be carrying our own inner fire, right? We should carry our own like responsibility, and we should be in a good place to push ourselves to follow our path. And I just feel like some people maybe fell out of the wagon and you helped them. I really think that you did, and you really helped some people. A lot of you did help assist, right? Because you cannot do anything for them, but I just feel like you were the type of person that wouldn't give up on them. And you're someone who, regardless if you follow your path or your passion, you were there for other people to follow theirs. Like, you pushed them. So it really feels like you were there for them. You were their cheerleader. You were there to, it could, for some of you, it could be like, let's say your partner and you, like one of you had to work and the other will go to school, right? And it was like teamwork, but really like maybe you felt like you weren't following your path while you're pushing someone to follow theirs. So some of you could be something like that. It doesn't matter if you were like pushing yourself at the same time that you were pushing others, or if you had to stop your life to push someone else. But definitely people are acknowledged by, like, they acknowledge that even if they haven't said thank you. Like, this is an impact that you definitely left on someone's life, and I hope that those people say thank you, because not everyone will do what you did at all. Like, people won't. And with this Page of Wands, and you got also the Page of Cups, I think that you have shown people not to take everything so seriously. And with this Page of Cups, I really feel like a lot of you were like that that friend that was single for the longest time, that will not take things seriously. Not because you were like slipping around or anything like that. It's more of like, while people were crying over like relationships, you were just like enjoying whatever you could enjoy in the present moment. You were not necessarily also crying about it. And so I just feel like it's that, like, you have this impact on people of like, maybe they think that it's the end of the world and you're like, no, it's not. But you know how to transmit that, because not everyone knows how to. Because some people will try to be like that and help someone, but they just come forward very judgmental. But for you, it just seems like the how casual you are with love. It's like you're not taking it seriously. But I also feel like with this combination and how witty you are with your words, I do feel as well that you're someone who is very funny, or who is comical and knows how to take the weight of the world on people. Like, I just feel like you're someone who is capable of, when something is so tense, you just like crack a joke or something. And with this Page of Wands, it's like I really feel like you have done more than your share of like lighting other people's inner fire, or like making them feel and believe that they're capable. And I just feel also like a lot of you that had the chance to, you have helped people with their passion and in their relationships to like mend their hearts for some reason. That's something that is clear here. I'm just gonna drink some tea. Okay. Now with this Ace of Sword, I know that there's no air sign that came out here, but I really feel like a lot of you could be a Gemini or an Aquarius as well. Why? With this Ace of Sword, the energy that I'm getting from this is that you're capable of explaining or simplifying things to people in a way that they can understand. You're someone who's very smart. Yeah, you don't hook yourself with that. Like, it's like, sometimes people will use like the most hard, like difficult words to express themselves or to explain something. And it's like, okay, we get it. You're like, you have a PhD or something, right? But you don't. I just have this feeling of like you are down to earth when it comes to that. And you're someone who also kind of, you're very open-minded, and people have felt the impact of that with you. I also feel like you're someone who is capable through proper argument, like through proper discussion, and you fighting like your case in a way. And I feel like that could also be your competitive side. You can convince people of like maybe think this way or maybe see things this way. Okay, now with this 41, you got 23 and 20, so you got beauty, which I told you guys already, like you are very beautiful, handsome, beautiful people. But when it comes to impact with beauty, it's what I mentioned before, that of you being capable of embellishing a place, a space. And I know that sometimes people may see this as something more superficial or frivolous. They may think that you're someone who's more superficial, but they haven't been, around people that have embellished their lives. And so maybe sometimes, because some people can be judgmental about that, and so they haven't realized the impact that it really does when your living space, when your bedroom is embellished. And I just feel like you're someone who embellishes everything. You step into a company and you embellish the culture of that company. Let's say it was a toxic place. Once that you're there, once that you're done with that place, if you stay there for 6 months, for a year, you switch completely the tune of that place, right? Let's say if everyone was like not decorating in their cubicles or anything like that, and then you come and then you embellish it, and then you inspire other people to do the same, and then you people realize then the big switch of like you bring harmony, which is embellishing things and spaces, right? Now, also, some of you, maybe your career also could be dressing people, embellishing places. Maybe you decorate places. Maybe you could also be like a wedding planner, right? It just seems that you beautify everything. Now, with this sovereignty, I really feel like this, because this is when you know everything already. Not like known all, but it's like the answers are available to you. I think that the way you inspire is that, and the impact that you have left, I just feel like the way that you take everything in and you do the internal work without taking it out on others. There's the meaning about this card is something different, but I'm really feeling this for this energy of you. It's very impactful how people see you and they were in a similar situation as you, and they know they behave completely different, and they took it out on others, yet you did not. And that for them gives them hope that maybe them too could find the answers within without having to use other tools or other things, or games as well. There's this thing, and this is why also the type of tarot readings that I do is more of an insightful tarot readings. Sometimes we add some entertainment, of course, because we want to laugh together, but most of it is we do the unconscious work, some things that we're not aware of, and we bring that to light. And sometimes when people, let's say, because I want to explain this, when you are having trouble, let's say in your relationships, and then there are people that will sell you exactly what text to reply to people, or like they will show you games of like how to retain his or her attention, right? Rather than teaching you why are you attracting those people and why are you looking for their approval and how to regain your power and your confidence, right? Those are two different worlds. So those are the tools I'm talking about. I just feel like you, group number 1, you're someone who has been able to find answers and to work within. And people that were in similar situations than you, they did it completely different. They had to play games first. They had to use other tools that were not calling for consciousness, or were not awakening their consciousness, or was not calling to take responsibility. And so people, they just feel so impacted by the way you are. Some of you could be like at such a young age, they felt you were very, very mature, okay? And now also with gratitude. This seriously can go both ways. I just feel like group number 1, people, they just feel so thankful the way that you were there for them. And this is what I'm talking about, of you were there for when people needed it the most. And more of like, you see, something I don't see here is like monetary necessarily, because your help was more with your presence. When it's sometimes it's easier to just give like, oh, here's $5, rather than, okay, here is your food, because I know that if I give you $5, you may not have the strength to actually go out and buy yourself food, or you may not have the strength to, get Uber because you don't want to see anyone. So this is why instead of just sending you $5, I'm actually coming all the way, driving to your house, and bringing you myself food that I made, right? So this is the different type of effort that I feel like group number 1, in the beginning, we see someone who is very fiery, someone who loves attention, but you definitely, and some people could see you as someone more superficial, but I can tell right away that you were there in ways that other people wouldn't. And that's why people are grateful. And it's not like just grateful like, oh, thank you once. They're grateful for life, okay? So that's the impact that you left, group number 1. And I feel like I should have said this before, but please do follow me, subscribe, give it a like, comment. I was so into this reading that I totally forgot. I'm really trying to make this channel grow, because I have another channel that is in Spanish. And that takes a lot of my time, but I told myself I was going to start posting in English as well. And yeah, so hopefully you, if you like this, and if you were watching, I hope that you have a couple seconds to subscribe, to give it a like. And if you ever need a reading, if you ever realize that, hey, this type of tarot readings, this type of approach is something that I really connect with, and I feel like I realize how much value it can bring into my life, you can always book a reading through my website, which is tarotbyfernanda.com. Okay, I love you all. You are all special human beings, and I'll see you on my next pick a card. Bye. Hi, group number 2, and welcome to your reading. Now, if you pick this card, this is the deck that I will be using for today's reading. Now, before we start, I just want to mention that when I was meditating, For your group, I really feel like this Six of Wands represents someone who, even when he or she becomes successful, there's something about you not necessarily mingling with your audience, or like you understanding. There's this thing of like you understand why people are important, or and mainly those that are in the public eye, or you're successful through whatever you do, right? Because successful does not mean rich. It means being successful at what you do, being able to have found a balance in what you give and what you get back, and it's worth it, right? And you feel at peace. So I really feel like there's something that you don't necessarily like about people's attention. You don't need it. I don't feel like you this number 2, I feel like it is a mix of introverts and extroverts. Because number 1, it was definitely extroverts, but you, I feel like it's a mix of like how to maybe socialize on the outside, but once that you are home, like you're like, oh, I'm finally home. Like, you know how to do it as a job, or how to do it when it's needed, but you don't necessarily love or need the attention from others. Also, there's this feeling of darkness. Okay, I haven't even done the reading yet, but like you're very aware of the darkness in the world. You're very aware of the evil in the world. For some reason, they were telling me this, and I'm like, okay, okay. And we're going to start with the reading. And just remember, this is people's perception of you, okay? Well, what I said is you. But right now, we're going to start with the perception that people have of you, whether it's accurate or not, because you may realize that, well, this is the face or the part of me that I have shown to people, but this is not me. And I just that's why I wanted to clarify that for you specifically. I do feel like maybe there are parts of you that you show and parts that you don't, and that you're someone who you have darkness, darkness, and you can see darkness in the world. So while some people, and I feel like group number 1 could enjoy hearing like, oh, you're so amazing, you care about who does it come from. Because you don't care about you're so amazing from someone who's trash versus, oh, you're so amazing from someone who you deem to be respectful, or worth it. All right, so let's start how people do view you. What is the perception of people? How do they perceive you? You got already the 2 of Cups. And I'll explain a little bit more about this. Just want to get a couple of cards first. Now, I also want to reiterate that this reading is both for women and men. Sometimes I'll say, like, I will describe that energy if it's feminine. I mean, not sometimes, always, if it's feminine or masculine. But in no way I'm talking about genders, okay? You also got the 2 of Swords with this 5 of Pentacles. You got this Ace of Pentacles. And I'm going to get one more. Let's get one more for group number 2. And you got this 10 of Wands. Okay, perfect. This. Okay, going to leave this here. Now, group number 2, people definitely see you as someone who you're in love with love. I'll say that. You're someone also that when you give yourself fully, deeply. There's no like in between. There's not like when you fall in love, you fall in love hard. Okay. And when you give and you share your essence, you give it to 100%. And I also feel like for you, love is so important. Love is so nourishing. Love is so inspiring. And people see that, okay? Maybe it could be because the way that you talk about things, the way that you explain things, maybe you give a lot of examples related to love. That could also be a reason, because when we try to explain things to people, we use things that matter to us or how we would understand it best, right? And so if all of your examples when it comes to justice, let's say, when it comes to fairness, let's say, you could explain in like other examples, but then you choose to explain it with examples taken from like a relationship, right? So then people do notice right away that you're someone who really care about relationships, who really care about marriage, you really care about love, you really care about others in that way. And you're someone that I will say is very selfless when it comes to being in love. And another thing that is so clear is that you believe in soulmates. That is how they perceive you. So if you thought you did a good job of like hiding that, you haven't. People do notice that. They know that you're a person who believes in soulmates. And this could also mean that you actually have someone or people that have been with you, they see you as soulmates. Like if they ever believed in soulmates, like it happened when they met you. And now, I know that this is the only card that is water, but I just feel like this water element is so present in this reading. And because of the darkness as well, I just feel like this impression that I was getting of you being in touch with the darkness of the world, like you don't necessarily see like, oh, like la 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 la, like everything is beautiful, right? But I do think that when it comes to love, you think that it is the most beautiful thing, that is the purest thing in this world. I really do think that this being the first card that came out is like, this is one of the things that are most important for you in this life. And finding that right partner, like people see that you're like that. They're also telling me that you're very dreamy. Maybe you have ideals when it comes to love, and I just don't see you settling unless it's true love. And with this, I feel like also it's like beyond of what you think. Like, I need someone who makes at least this much, or I think I need someone who is like this and like that. For you, you're really looking to find that soulmate, that other person that you'll recognize. So yeah, when it comes to love, there's such a pure perception of you and your beliefs. Now here, I do see that people see you as someone extremely intuitive, extremely peaceful, and someone who is not judgmental, okay? And someone who no one can push her or him to make a hasty decision. You're not someone who people can push around when it comes to difficult decisions. And I really do think that you are very considerate. Like, that's how people see you. They perceive you like someone who's very, very considerate to both sides, whether it's people, situation, things, whatever it is, okay? You're very considerate when you are meant to make a choice, but that you know that this will affect others. And so you make sure that you're truthful. Something they're telling me is that you don't waste people's time. Okay, this is clear. And this is, maybe this we're not getting into that because this is people's perception, but this could be the darkness that I was feeling, because maybe in the past you have felt like people have done wrong to you, but mainly that have wasted your time, and maybe their promises were not as true as the type of promises that you make, because you, when it comes to love, your promise means something, okay? And maybe in another time, if you want that type of reading, let me know in the comments. I'll make one of like who you truly are, because this is people's perception. But there is this message about you not wasting people's time. Like, you don't take decisions lightly when it comes to, let's say, moving in with someone or dating someone, or like if you were to fall out of love, you would communicate that to the person right away. You will not be someone who waits like 3 years dating that person, even though you don't really love them, and then later on break up with them. It's like you're very considerate and you're very fair. You're just so I'm picturing even someone, when someone is kind of cutting a slice of like cake or something, you make sure it's the same for both sides. Now, this intuitive side is here. It's definitely here as well with this Two of Cups together. I feel like unity for you is also something very important, because you see it here, 2 and 2, and it's the only number that repeats more than, well, 2 and 1 actually, because 10, the number 10 is actually 1 plus 0, it is 1, right? So you got 1, 1, then you got 2 and 2, and then you got 5 in here in the middle. So I do feel like unity is so important for you. When it comes to unity, you give yourself in a very conscious way. You're self-aware of your decisions and how it can affect others. And also here, there's that individuality of you. Like, you're someone who can be yourself, an individual that chooses unity for a reason, but not from needing it, you know? Now here, this is something of maybe your darkness or something that you're working on, and people do perceive you like that, and they do realize this. So some of you with this material trouble, this could mean that people have perceived you, that at some point you have had trouble with your finances, or keeping your finances stable, or keeping the money in. Like, the money could come in, but you were not capable of retaining that or saving that money. At the same time, I understand as well that people could perceive you like you're poor, but maybe you're not, right? So remember, take this with a grain of salt, but this is how people perceive you. They're thinking that maybe you have money trouble, or maybe sometimes, and for you makes so much sense, because you're like, well, I have chosen to maybe not fall into this consumer trap. And so that's why I dress modestly and I live in a very modest way, but I'm not broke, right? And that's completely understandable. And I'm not saying anything, like I have no opinion. It really is, this is people's perception, and they perceive you like maybe you have a bit of instability when it comes to money, when it comes to your finances, when it comes to assets, I'll say. And this could be due to so many reasons. This could be because you gamble. This could be because you receive, or you're someone who gives so much to others, but you don't know how to retain some for yourself, right? This could also mean some of you could be trouble in your health, and people perceive that. Okay, now also there could be a bit of insecurity here sometimes, and people perceive that as well. But I will say that mainly I'm getting the trouble to retain the money. Trouble, or you give but you don't receive. So there's something here with money, because I have this feeling that people are like, but he or she should have money. They deserve money. Why they haven't gotten assets, you know? So they're only speculating, because I feel like when it comes to that, you're maybe a bit more reserved. When it comes to money, most of us are more reserved. So they are speculating because they feel like you should be at a different place, economically speaking. But it could be because everyone is buying houses, or everyone is, I don't know, something. And so they have this impression that why is she or he lacking? You know, there's this like question mark. Now, with this Ace of Pentacles, you got this also, this 10 of Wands. Now, this is really talking about, I don't know what you do as a career, but people see that you have planted a seed. It's very clear you planted a seed, and this is something that you have been growing for some time, years maybe, okay? And it doesn't have to be the same thing, like you have been working on the same project, but I just feel like you could have worked on a project, it doesn't work out, you try again, it doesn't work out, you try again, it doesn't work out. But so people perceive you as someone who's so perseverant, someone who does not give up, someone who, and this is why I feel like they have this question mark of like, why? You know, I have seen this person's trajectory, and they should be more famous, or they should be like richer, or they should be like more financially stable, or they should have already made it. And they don't understand it, and they don't have to really. You know your journey, right? But people do see that you have tried really hard, that you're very perseverant, and they feel like you must be very close. Like if you see this card that says oppression, but it's just because you are carrying the weight on you of like when we follow our path, you know, sometimes it will be easy, sometimes it's not that it's not easy, but it gets tiring of like trying and doing our best. But here you can see the city. Like, I don't know if you get to see it because of the lighting, but it's very close. So I just feel like people do see you as someone who's so perseverant and has to make it. Like, definitely has to make it. What else? Let me see how else do they perceive you now. It does not mean that you're one of the zodiac signs, but this is how they perceive you, okay? Now, also, after this, we're gonna go over the impact that you leave on people's life, okay? And I just want to remind you, I want to take this pause to ask if you can subscribe, if you can take a second to subscribe and give it a like. I have another channel. It's a Spanish channel, but I promised myself to start posting more often in English as well. And so for me to be able to be posting more often, I would appreciate if it will help a lot if this channel does grow. And you can help me by subscribing, okay? Or by sharing my videos, or by commenting, or giving a like. So thank you. Okay, no, I'm looking for a zodiac sign. Can you give me a zodiac sign or a planet? You got the 12th house. So this is the idealistic, dreamy side of you, okay? This is the compassion, the forgiveness side of you, healing, spiritual. But I will say that it's mainly like the idealistic, because house 12, you know, Neptune and Pisces, they belong to that house. They're stationary in the house. And Pisces is very idealistic. He has ideals and is in love with love, and sometimes feels like he or she will never find true love, or someone who loves them back as much as they love that person. And so I feel like this whole love thing, and in the back, you can see the 7th house, and that is also the marriage house, okay? The true love type of, the person who you marry type of house. So love is definitely something very important for you. And people may see you as a very dreamy person, idealistic, in love with love, maybe a Pisces. Maybe you have a Pisces. Even if you're not a Pisces, you could be a Pisces ascendant. So, well, ascendant. Your rising sign is Pisces, and that's why people perceive you as You could also be a Capricorn, right? Or people do perceive you as a Capricorn. And you also got Venus, which represents both Taurus and Libra. Okay? So those could be your placements, and that's how people perceive you. Now, let's see what is the impact that you leave in people's life. Also, letting you know, if you are interested, if you are in a place in your life where you feel like, you like the style of my readings, and you wish to get clarity on a topic, right? But like nice clarity and like with this type of energy, because I myself have watched other tarot readings in the past, and sometimes it's fear, or take action, is now or never. And my type of tarot has always been a very conscious tarot. It's about bringing self-awareness. It's about spreading love and taking responsibility and being honest with oneself. So if you enjoy this type of readings, and you would like to have one, just go to my website, that is tarotbyfernanda.com, and you can purchase a private reading with me, okay? Alrighty, so let's see what is the impact that you leave on people's lives. What is the type of impact? You got the 8 of Wands. You got Judgment. Yeah, you give second chances to people. And I feel like you let people grow. Like, when sometimes if someone who used to be a drug addict, let's say, or someone used to something, I just feel like you have this connection with darkness, and so you don't judge them. And you're you put your limits very clear, and you're not going to be accepting weakness. But when people say, hey, I'm not the person I was yesterday, and I will demonstrate it to you, you let them be. And there's people that will never forget who people were. They will never give them a second chance. Like, if, how they say of like, the one who throws the first stone will be the person, like, throw the first stone who has never sinned. And the truth is that we all have, and I feel like that is the type of mentality you have of like, we all have done things that we regret. We all have messed up in the past. Who am I to tell someone they cannot change? If there's this feeling like you feel like yourself, you change so much. So how could you ever tell someone they're not capable of change? You're not, something I'm feeling though is that you're very strong. So you're not someone who's holding someone's hand while they're changing. It's like, no. You're not necessarily helping them, okay? It's more of like, if you come back and you're telling me you're clean now, you have been clean for, let's say, 6 months, a year, and now you're different, whatever, blah, 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 I'm going to believe you. I will give you that second chance, not because I heard that in the past you did this or you did that. I'm going to, judge you on that forever. Now, also, I'm not doing reversals. If you ever see any cards that are coming in reversal, and I put it how it should be, it's because I don't do reversals. If I ever do reversals, it's only because I feel like I need to in that specific reading, and I will say it in the beginning, okay? So just letting you know, in case that anyone in the comments feels compelled to call me out on that. That's how I do my readings. Whenever I do reversals, I do say it from the beginning that I will be accepting reversals. So far you got the 8 of Wands, you got Judgment, you got the Ace of Swords, and you got the 4 of Swords. And I'll get some cards out from here. You got Change. See, what was I telling you? You let people change, and that's the impact that you have. You make people believe they can change. And like sometimes, there was this story about Paulo Coelho is one of my favorite writers, and I can't remember what the book was called because I think I read it in French, but it was something about 12 coins or 10 coins or something like that. I think that was the title. And the thing is, in this story, there was this one person who was deemed very evil, like very, very, very evil. And I'm telling you a story for a reason, because I think that you're this person I'm going to describe. So everyone in town knew this person as evil, like as a criminal. And so there was this one person who lived, a hermit who lived, or a saint who lived by a mountain. Okay? And this is who I think you are. And this criminal came, and the guy offered him food. He knew very well who he was. And the criminal was a bit taken aback because was like, huh? Like, I felt like you should be running the other way, right? And after that, the saint or the hermit offers him to stay there and sleep there at his place. And he literally, and then the criminal sees that he's being serious about it, and then that he falls, like the hermit or the saint falls asleep very quickly and very deeply. And so the criminal is like, he's not as scared of me. And because of that, he doesn't rob him, and he doesn't kill him. He doesn't do anything to him. And so the thing is, you let people change. You give that opportunity that other people do not offer. And that's one of the biggest impact that you have in other people's lives. I feel like people have realized that you, and this is once again, your connection with darkness, or you took responsibility of your past, and you know that people are capable of that too. And no one is too, it's never too late to change or take responsibility or change for the better. And I feel like, wow, that is seriously such an amazing trait and such an amazing impact to have on others. And so in that story, if the saint or the hermit would have run the other way, you know, probably the criminal would have killed him. But he was so taken aback of like, wow, you are giving me the chance to pretend that you don't know what I'm about to do. And so you're giving me room to actually be someone else that in the past society has not allowed me to be. So this is definitely something very special there that you have, group number 2. Now, you got faith as well. So, okay, there we go. I feel like you could, in this story, it was a saint or a hermit, but I feel like this could also be because a lot of you that picked this group, you are someone who has a lot of faith. You could be a religious person as well. Even if you're not a religious person, like I'm not necessarily a religious person, but I like to go and pray at the church, because any monument that is dedicated to God does hold a specific frequency, because when people go and pray there or go and sing there, you know, there's a frequency. There's residues of really good energy that stays there. So I'm not someone who will go to mass, but I'm someone who will go to church or any temple I find to pray, okay? It doesn't matter who that temple belongs to, really. And so I just feel like you're someone who has a lot of faith in this world, a lot of faith in people. So this is why this you're the type of person who's like, whoever has never seen in their lives, then throw the first stone. No? Okay, so chill. And I have this feeling that you have also like a don't mess with me type of personality. And this is why I feel like you're not necessarily very motherly or like, hold my hand, I'll hold your hand while you change. No. But you give opportunity, okay? You don't give time to people for like, I don't want to say the word, actually, but for them to be messing around, right? You don't play games. So this is kind of like such a big impact that you have on people. And then you also have number 22, which is wisdom. And I do think that you're someone, I don't know why I'm thinking of Sagittarius, like someone who is willing to learn different cultures, you're very open minded. And it's like the person that says, I know nothing. I know that I know nothing, right? Because the second that I think that I know something, then I know that I'm being ignorant. And so there's this open-minded, whether you have traveled or not, it's like you have learned and you have gained so much wisdom through the most simple things in life without having to necessarily travel. And you're very open-minded, and this have created such a big impact on others. Now you got also here the 8 of Wands with swiftness. I do think that you have helped or assisted others into whatever they were creating, it happened faster. So even like could be sales. Seriously, something like maybe whenever you go to a business, whenever you sit at a restaurant, clients come in. I just feel like this is the impact that you have on people. And this is very positive. So wherever your presence is, things that were on pause, they're put on play again, or they go faster. People that were experiencing blockages, they were experiencing like difficulties somehow. You get there and then boom. So I really picture like when you step into a restaurant, you step into a business, and it was dead empty, like dead empty. You step in and then boom, they're clients. Or you step in and maybe someone who, let's say you work for a small business owner, and he or she was not doing things very fast or was very blocked on this idea. And it's not until he hires you or she hires you that things like she starts actually putting in the work finally, and the business starts moving, because anything that was on pause, anything that was taking too long, anything that was like having any type of trouble, your presence, that's the impact that you have. You put things into motion. So this could be why people are not sure why you are not rich or you don't have the abundance that you deserve, because you definitely do bring that to others, okay? And now you got the Ace of Swords and also the 4 of Swords. Yeah, on the side of wisdom, the air element is that intellectual side, is that mind. It represents the mind. And so I do think that you give people perspective, okay? That is what you give to people. You give perspective, and you also inspire people to understand what's happening. I do think for some reason that maybe you're someone who do not necessarily follow politics, like you don't believe everything that I said. And so you encourage people to ask why, who, where, is it true? Where is he getting that information from? Okay, so that's something that's very clear. And with this 4 of Swords, it's just the way that you go about things, and you teach people to do that. One thing is meditate, but the other one is like sometimes like the impact in what you have taught people is it's better not to use your energy on things that are unnecessary. And sometimes, even if you don't see me doing anything, and this is something you have taught people by the way you are, how, like the way you behave. Sometimes it's like you saying that to them. Sometimes you may not see me do things. You may not see me being in movement. But this winter, this time of not doing anything is needed for what I'm about to do. Yeah. It's very interesting because number 1 is very like on the go, a lot of energy. And for you, it's like you strike when you need to strike. And people, this type of behavior has really made an impact on them. Group number 2, I really hope that this reading was insightful. Subscribe. Remember to subscribe. That really, really helps for this channel to grow. I really want this channel to grow faster than my other one in the past. And I really hope I'm gonna be able, have the time and the capacity to be recording more often readings for you, for this channel. I love you all. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you on the next reading. Hi there, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. If you picked this specific card of the Six of Staves that belongs to this deck, welcome. Now, I'll be using this deck to do your reading, but before we start, something I was channeling for this group specifically, it's like you have it very clear, the purity of your purpose or your goals, or why is it that you do what you do. From all the other groups, I feel like you were the one group that maybe at some point you cared about what people thought. Maybe at some point you care about a public, an audience, but you don't anymore, or you will soon realize that you really do not. And I just have this feeling that you rather just walk your path with the people that you truly care about. I also feel like sometimes you could get comments about like, I deserve this too. And you are someone who understands very well the path that you walked. And you, if anyone were to want to, walk the same path, you're like, well, go for it. And you will understand all the hardship I did go through and all the work that I actually had to put through, like into this. I did not get things just because I got them freely or easily, I work for them. And I also felt like this specific group are the type of people that could possibly be like secret agents, or people that do not get the credit, necessarily always get the credit of the big things that they have done. Now, I'm not saying that secret agents are like amazing. No. That was the first example that actually came into my mind of people that we never know that could maybe have saved us from something. But there are a lot of heroes, and I feel like that we don't know to what extent they helped us, but they don't necessarily are so public, Also, I feel like if you are successful, that's what you would do. Like, you wouldn't be so public. Like, if you were to be an actor or an actress, or like a singer, you will be like one of those that we don't know anything about their personal life. Not because you're introvert or extroverted, it's just because you don't want people to be in your business. And that's something I get from you. Another thing too is that I feel like this group is the one group that has kind of a very special connection with nature or animals as well. And I don't know, I just feel like you care just about having the ones that you love around you, and you see life a little bit different. Like, you could have more than everyone else, but you don't show it, okay? So this is just me channeling your personality or something about you. Now we will start actually with how people perceive you. And just remember to take this with a grain of salt, because this is people's perception of you, right? And that's not the truth. You hold your truth. This is how people perceive you based on what you have allowed people to know, or have you shown yourself to people. So this is just perceptions, okay? And you got the King of Coins already. You got Magic. I feel like a lot of you are very wealthy, or you are entrepreneurs. You're someone who has no trouble with money, or at least that's how they perceive you, okay? You're someone very abundant. Ooh, Queen of Arrows. We got very strong energies here. So I think that you're either very important, or people that know you, they know you don't mess around, and you're someone very responsible. You're someone who is, I'll talk a little bit more. Just, you got the Nine of Staves. And let's see if there's another card. Okay, the Sun here. So you get to see all of them, okay? Alrighty, I'll leave this over here and let's start with your reading. Now, also, I just want to clarify that my readings are both for women and men. When I talk about energy, right, I'll say sometimes this is more of a feminine energy, masculine energy. In a way, I'm talking about gender. Remember that we all have both energies in different, like, percentages, but we all have both. So some qualities do belong to feminine, some qualities do belong to masculine, okay? So in a way, I'm talking about gender. Now, also, I'm a woman, so then sometimes I could, in a way, because I forget myself, but I try not to, okay? Now, with this King of Coins, you definitely someone very stable, abundant, have assets. You could be very young, right? You don't have to be older, like this is an adult, but it's just that you have achieved things that maybe other people your age did not. And I'm definitely one of them. I was not as responsible with money, but it just seems like you are, and you have a good relationship with money. Either you have saved, you were really good at saving, or you were really good at making that money. And I just feel like you could be an entrepreneur, or you're someone who knew right away that's how they perceive you. They perceive you as someone who's wealthy, maybe not someone who necessarily follow his or her passion per se, but someone who prioritizes her well-being, financial well-being, and being able to achieve monetary goals or financial goals, okay? Now, you could be like, Fernanda, but I'm actually broke. Well, people don't know that. They don't. They just know, let's say there's people sometimes that they buy really expensive machines. There's people that, rent physical, like, places to, like, they rent to have their business there. And, like, you could be struggling, yet people see you achieving those goals that they could not dream to be able to do them right now in their situation, right? So this is how they perceive you. They think that you're balling. They think that they perceive you as also someone, I'll say, a bit serious, someone who takes everything serious as well, someone a little bit more rigid. And I see that because of the Queen of Aries too, okay? You're someone who jumps very quick to conclusions, who is like if someone is trying to be more funny or more like, maybe even flirt, you'll be like, no. You'll cut that right out. Like, you'll be like, no, just by the way, I'm maybe single, but I'm not looking. Or it's just, by the way, you're not my type. Like, that's how people perceive you. Like, you're someone a bit intimidating too, I'll say. So this is interesting. Each pile is so different. I'm just going to take a sip of tea. One sec. Okay. Yeah. And I just feel like actually you're very soft. This is me channeling. I think that you're very soft at heart, but now how people actually perceive you, it is definitely like you're a tough crowd. You're a tough crowd to please. I think that people really perceive you as very set in your ways. I don't know why I'm laughing. I just think that, yeah, people really picture you as someone very set in your ways. Like, you just want to do things like you want them to, and even, like, I'll say they picture you a bit like spoiled, or someone who only cares about themselves and their needs. There's just something like there's a lack of flexibility from you. That's how people perceive, right? I do also feel like this is a feminine energy, right? Remember, this is just a feminine energy, but I just feel like this, how people perceive you, is because you protect your heart in a way. Like, you're this beautiful woman or man, yet you're very straightforward about your intentions or what your expectations are. And you do that at work, you do that in relationships, you do that like on a everyday basis, and you set your limits very like fast, and you set your limits very clearly. Maybe even you lack a little bit of tact, I will say. That's how people perceive you, right? But I just feel like it's because you're more rational, and I do think that you prioritize how people see you and perceive you, is that you're prioritizing right now rational things that make sense, and your career or money, your financial stability. Maybe you have like this dream of buying a house or something. So this also means that maybe romantically, guys, women, I feel like people also romantically, they can see that right away, and they can see that, okay, she or he wants a relationship, but mainly she or he will prioritize people of means, because they want that and they are that, and so they will prioritize that type of people. They're not necessarily following their gut feeling or passion or genuine love. But that's how they perceive you, right? That's not how you necessarily are. But maybe this could make you reflect of like, am I coming forward this way? And yeah, but 100% intimidating. Like, people are intimidated by you and everything you have achieved so far. And I do really think that a lot of you are entrepreneurs because of this magician in here. Something too they just said that I never gotten with this card. But they said people perceive them as someone who they don't want to mess around with. They're scared of what you could do to take revenge on them. So this is interesting. Yeah, I feel like people are like even scared of wasting your time. So you may have perceived that at your workplace. You may have perceived that like when people are talking to you or your employees, it's like they just even are scared of wasting your time. Maybe even in relationships or dates, like people ghost you, where in other situations they could have strung you along, and maybe that's usually what they do, but they didn't do that to you, and you're like, oh my gosh, they completely disappear. But really it's because they were scared of like messaging you and then you replying to them like, are you dumb? Like them messaging you and being like, hey, sorry, this is not gonna work out, and then you're just being like, are you dumb? There's so much comical to this whole thing. I promise I haven't laughed in the other groups. I just think that this is so funny. And now with this magician as well, this is what lets me know that maybe you are an entrepreneur, because it's like you have taken your destiny into your hands, and that's how people see you. And people see you as someone who will be good at anything you set as a goal, and that you put yourself into. Yeah. And there's this thing of like, the rational part and like the smart with money is one thing, but I'm not getting the feeling like you are a highly educated person, like you necessarily have, like book smart, right? I don't feel like you're someone who's book smart. I actually feel like the opposite, that you are someone who just are seeing great opportunities and knows when to act, knows when to invest, do your research, when to buy equipment, invest in something, you know how to sell yourself to companies to pay for them to pay you more, you know how to sell something to your parents so they let you study or go to university, right? But I don't picture you as someone, like what I'm getting from it is not like they view you as a book smart. I just want to clarify that they see you as someone who's very clever and who has been very intelligent on how to take advantage of opportunities in his life or her life, okay? And they also, I'm just gonna take a quick break to remind you, group number 3, to subscribe. Please give it a like and subscribe. If you want to share this reading with other people, that will be amazing as well. But first, most important of all, subscribe. This is a brand new channel. I do have another channel in Spanish, and honestly it takes most of my time, but I have told myself, I have promised myself that I will be posting more often in this channel. So as my channel grows faster and faster, I will definitely be here more often. So if you do wish that as well and you wish to support me, just hit on that button, subscribe, and also give it a like. Thank you. Okay, let's keep going. Now you got the 9 of staves. And this is your passionate side, but in the sense of like how stubborn you are. This is about like how you don't give up on things. People view you and they're like, God damn it, why has she or he not like given up on this? And you keep trying and you keep trying and you keep trying, and like even past like what may make sense sometimes, but you just keep trying. And yeah, you could, I just feel like you're very, very stubborn, and people see that and they perceive that. Maybe you're not, and they just perceive you that way, you know? I don't know. And another thing for sure is that you're someone, when it comes to intimacy, you are very passionate. Okay, that's how people have perceived you, people that have been with you. And I don't talk about this topic too much unless something very clear comes up. And in your case, people that have been with you, that have dated you, that have, you know, had an intimate life with you, it definitely, they picture you as someone who's very, very passionate and has a lot of vitality, would I say, when it comes to that that area of their lives or your life, right? And I'll just say that because I do like to my content to be very like family oriented or like for, you know, you never know who's watching. So you got the sun as well in here with the awakening. And in here, oof. Okay, wait, this is not the sun. Cupid and Psyche. No, this is judgment. Okay, in here, this was why I was feeling this energy was different. And I'm just going to ask for confirmation about this. You got 2 cards. You got the Queen of Cups, another Queen. You got a King, a Queen, and another Queen, and you got the 6 of Staves. Okay, so I really feel like success is very, very, very important for you. Oh no, yeah, this isn't. You got, for you, success is very, very, very important for you. People do see that. Oh, and something I'm getting as well is that, you know how I said that acknowledgement in public was not necessary for you? I'm just getting that for a lot of you, it's like people's acknowledgement, it does not matter, like a big public, but you have someone in your life that you want acknowledgement from. This could be your mom, your dad, your partner, a grandparent, a sibling. There's someone specific that you want acknowledgement from. They just said this, okay? So this is not perception. This is something they're telling me, okay? So it's something to reflect upon. And people just feel like you're someone who is sunshine. Probably they have described you as like, wow, you're sunshine. Like you're someone who uplifts other people. You're someone who laughs, or like, of course you're like, a lot of people find you more stiffy. But other people do find you very like harmonious, very funny. Maybe without you trying to be, because I feel like maybe there's not much humor this to combine. But people find that you are someone that is sunshine to them, someone who's very genuine, someone who's very real, and that is capable of uplifting others, okay? Now, let's see what zodiac sign, how do they perceive you? Because it does not mean that you are one of these zodiac signs. This could only be your ascendant, and that's why people perceive you this way. Okay, you got Jupiter, and that is Sagittarius. So maybe you are a Sagittarius. This is not a sign or a planet. Let's see. Oof. And here in the back you got Sagittarius. So a lot of you could be a Sagittarius. You also got the 10th house. And that belongs to Capricorn. You could be a Capricorn as well, because that house belongs to Capricorn. This is not a planet. And you got a Scorpio as well. So you could be a Scorpio or a Scorpio ascendant. You could be a Capricorn or a Capricorn ascendant, or a Sagittarius or a Sagittarius. Ascendant. When I say ascendant, is rising sign. Okay. Now, or you could be none of those, but that's how they perceive you. They perceive you as someone who, all in all, is has a lot of luck. I will say they perceive you as someone lucky, and you could be like, none of it has been luck. Like, if people want to walk in my shoes, like, they're more than welcome. But even if it's not luck, like, people see it like that, because they're like, wow, she's so lucky, or he's so lucky. Also, they see you as someone very generous, someone open-minded as well in some things. Like, when it comes to beliefs, like, you won't close yourself if someone is from a different religion or from a different traditional background or culture. It is clear that people think that you care the most about what people bring on the table when it comes to financially, or like if this makes sense, or if this will make sense for your needs and what your end goal is. But when it comes to open-minded, they mean like religiously, different cultural backgrounds. Like, that's not something that you necessarily, it matters to you as much. With Jupiter as well, it could be that you speak more than one language. That could also be. And you could be like a foreigner where you are. So let's say that you live in Mexico, but really you're from Canada, right? Or you live in the US, but really you were born in Mexico. So you are a foreigner. And also with this 10th house, which is like Capricorn, you really come across as a earth sign, or Capricorn that really cares about his reputation, about responsibility, about what other people think of them, but not in that sense. Like I said, I feel like there's one specific person that you care about his acknowledgement or her acknowledgement. And for this reputation, I really feel like it's mainly you like people only talk good things about your services, about your work, about who you are as a person. Mainly, I feel like your work, okay? And Scorpio energy, this is just like your capacity as well of maybe like transforming or changing as a person through time. But it could also be more of, because of what I have seen, how people perceive you, I feel like this Scorpio could be because you're more controlling, you're more jealous, you're more possessive than anything else. I feel like I'm getting more of that, and that's why they can perceive you as a Scorpio, okay? Now, let's go with how do you impact other people's life, okay? So that will be the last part of the reading, is how do you impact other people's life? And I'm just going to put this back. And let's start shuffling. I'll start with this. These are some oracle cards. Let's see, how do you impact other people's life? Okay, you got attraction, number 44. Once again, this type of numbers talk a lot about assets, money, abundance, stability. So this is definitely something that you are really good at, I will say. And I just feel like people, oh, this one came out. Wisdom. You got now 22. So 4 plus 4 gives 8, and then 2 plus 2, it's 4. Okay, so the frequency of number 8 is also business, entrepreneurship, abundance, power, right? And then you got 4 in here, which is what I mentioned before. Let's see if there's something else as well. Now, also, while I'm shuffling, in case that you are at a place in which you feel like a tarot reading will be really good for you, it will be like nice to, you have specific questions, you know, that you will love to have clarity, and you have connected with the way that I do my readings, which is this way. I feel like sometimes some readers, they inject fear or like pressure of like it's time to act or something. And you, through time, you'll see my style of reading is very conscious, and is all about just, bringing peace and sense of direction. So if that's what you're looking for, but for your specific questions, you can just book directly a tarot reading with me in my website, tarotbyfernanda.com. The website is in my description box and in the comment section as well, okay? So whenever you're ready, I'm here. You got the 7 of Arrows. You got Triumph, which is the World. Wow. The 4 of Arrows. Actually, I will leave it like this, okay? I'm just gonna take some tea. And this is about how you impact other people's lives currently, or maybe in the past as well. And people may feel grateful or may remember you by this. And let me just reflect on this for a second. Okay, there is a sense of here that confirms that for a lot of you that pick number 3, I do think that you were betrayed, okay, in the past. And this is why this Queen of Arrows that protects her feelings, his heart, And I do feel like you were betrayed, and I do feel like there's a big message of people that betray you, that your reaction afterwards made them feel very dirty and made them feel like they realized they did wrong, right? So I feel like some of those people, they feel really bad of what they did to you, or the way they behaved. And I just feel like because you have always been so honest, right? I'm not saying that you acted the right way about things, because with the Scorpio energy, I was sensing you're very possessive, you're very revengeful and all of that. But I just feel like in this case specifically, because you're so honest with people, that impacted them. Like the weight of their lies, like realizing that, wow, she, even after that, she remained so truthful and she remained so honest about things. And now I realize how much I messed up, right? I'm not saying that they regret it or anything, but or they have changed whatsoever. But I do think that has impacted them, of like how you remain truthful even afterwards. Okay. I also feel like there's some people in your life that feel like you were it. Like they feel like you are the world, and they feel like this string has been leading them to you all along. And that's like a beautiful impact to have on someone. It's like, wow, like they feel like you were the end game. You were like what they were looking for. And this could be like something so like doesn't have to be romantic. Sometimes like a job, right? And someone has been struggling so much to find someone honest, someone that understands their business, someone that understands like the importance of what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. And when they finally find you, they're like, oh my gosh. But for a lot of people, I do definitely think that it's like a friendship, a very deep friendship, or even like could be your mom, your dad is like, wow, you have been like that beautiful child that I always wanted. Or this could be your partner, and it's just they feel like, and they think the world of you, and they just feel like all has been worth it because they have found you, or they have you in their lives, and it's like everything is worth it, or everything is fine as long as I have you in my life. Okay? And with this 4 of arrows, it's interesting. This card came out in group number 2, but it was such a different feeling. And this is just a lot of you are actually coupled up, I find. Yeah. And it's just people feel so peaceful next to you, feel so peaceful being in your life. And I feel like also the thing that you don't rush yourself, or you could be very like such a hard worker, but whenever you are just doing nothing, you do nothing. Like you're not gonna be like, you understand that not every day you can be giving your 100%, right? There's times that you're just gonna be eating Cheetos, watching a movie, and that's it. And like people seeing you relaxing and giving yourself the permission to do so, it's like it impacts them, because it's like, I can do that as well. And another thing is, I do feel like you sleep a lot. I think that you enjoy sleeping a lot, and people have realized that it's something that is important for you, and you have somehow sold them the importance of sleeping. I don't know why they're saying that. And you got 8, 4, 4, frequency 4, and 4 and 8 over here, and you got 4 as well here, and number 3 here. Okay, and number 7. But mainly I feel like number 4 is very important, because you're someone who kind of brings stability around people. You're there in their darkest hours, and I just feel like this whole thing about your sunshine to them is like, even in your darkest hours, you're sunshine to them, or in their darkest hours, you are sunshine to them. And you're like that lamp or that light that perseveres even at nighttime, right? So that's how they picture you. And it's like you're always willing to learn. You're someone also, I'll say, I have this feeling that you're someone who's very, like I said, you're not necessarily book smart, but when it comes to things that you love or you're passionate about, you make sure that you're the best at it. So you will read books or anything, take courses to learn more about it. And people, I feel like they notice that, and they think that you are pretty wise, and people maybe, I don't know if you have always been like that, but people they have noticed the difference, and they just feel like, whenever we change, we give permission to other people to change in the same direction. So I feel like you have given permission to people to change for the better when it comes to wisdom, when it comes to be open-minded to do things differently from what they were taught. And this could, be directed to your parents, if you're someone who's constantly in touch with them, or whoever you're constantly in touch with them, they have noticed this change, and you allowing yourself this, you allow them to. You give them permission. And same thing with attraction is like, I feel like if this is showing like you are impacting people this way, it's maybe you're achieving another level of abundance that maybe your family tree did not, or your parents did not. So you are showing a different way to people in your neighborhood, to your friends, to your parents, to your family. So it definitely, you are breaking limits, set in the past. And I think that's everything for you, group number 3. Do remember to subscribe, to give it a like. I will really appreciate that. I send you hugs. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for honoring me with your presence. And I will see you on the next pick a card, okay? Bye.